Slide one. So we're going to, this lesson, guys, I've designed all the lessons so that, and I'm talking mostly to Mary Henwood, I've designed all the lessons so you can either go with a group with, being careful, or you can do on your own. And they're designed to be at home. So all 6, you can do it either at home or in your neighborhood kind of thing. So the first lesson is macro, and we're going to go through some gear talk. I'll do that after we do the little slideshow. So Chris, go ahead. Next slide.
Pay attention. We're going to sing together, okay?
Can you hear that, Roger?
I can hear it. Go for it.
Just wanted to make
sure.
sure.
I don't see it though.
You may not be able to because of your setting.
Well, there you go. I see it now. You're good. Go for it.
Pay attention. We're going to sing together.
Don Ho.
Tiny bubble. Make me happy. Eat your hot Lawrence. Make me feel fine. Tiny bubble, make me warm all over, with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. So here's to the golden moon, here's to the silver sea, but mostly here's a toast to you and me. Repeat after me now, everybody. Tiny bubble, tiny bubble, in the wine, make me happy, make me feel fine, tiny bubble, make me warm. With a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. When you sing Tiny, I'll answer back. Tiny? Tiny. Oh, Alingi. Ikabaina. Make me happy. Oh, holy. Make me feel fine. Ikaba, oh, inu. That I'm gonna love you till the end of time. With a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time.
Thank you, Chris. Next, there we go. Can anybody hear me? Good?
Yep.
Okay. There's a difference between macro and close-up. Macro is where the ratio is about 1-to-1. Okay. Chris, my screen is clipping some of the.
Yeah.
That's mine too. I think it's your PowerPoint that you set up.
No, okay. It works on mine. Size, I'll read it. Size of the image on the film sensor is equal to or larger than the object photographed. That is 1-to-1 or better. Okay. Close-up is roughly 1-to-2. So it's close, but it's not true macro. What's there to photograph? And you guys can read all that. There's all kinds of stuff to photograph. It's a lot of fun. And I'll go through some gear talk after we do the slides and all that. But the one thing I want you to pay attention to is under what is there to photograph, the last sentence there, macro and close-up transform. Get that thing out.
Sorry.
Whoop, go back.
Yep.
Go
I
back,
was trying to see if I could widen that view on that screen, but it's not working.
Let me go to view options on mine. I'm going to go to, well, fit to window. Original
Uh,
size? No, neither
No, I
one
think
works for me.
it's in the PowerPoint that
In
you
PowerPoint,
sent
okay.
me. I need, it's not, it's not
That
messing with
tells
it
us
now.
Chris, you and I have to then check the next ones.
Yep.
Anyway, macro and close up. What 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 I'd like everybody to be thinking about is when you're taking those kind of photographs, it's, to my mind, it's kind of easy and boring if you just photograph something up close and it's what it is. Oh, here's a closer picture of a rock or a flower. Okay, that's nice and it's pretty, but it it doesn't tweak your mind in the way that macro is capable of doing. And by that I mean you can transform it into seeing something beyond what it is if it's just taking it up close. Okay, so and the slides will start to illustrate good and bad examples of that. And the last one is we'll get into depth of field. Go ahead and work with the fact that depth of field is super limited. I mean, you're down to microns in some cases to take stuff that in focus. So accept being out of focus and work with that. That may be possible. Tripod is needed for sure. And it requires a lot of gear, and I'll show a bunch of that gear if you read all that. This is a slide we did from a macro class I did a couple years ago. So what's important is knee pads and pain pills if you're down on the ground photographing stuff. so okay, Chris, next slide. So tiny bubbles. That's oil in water, and it's reflecting. It almost looks like Christmas ornaments to my eye. I don't know what that is that's behind there, but it's refracting those patterns, which is kind of cool. Okay, so oil and water, and then I guess in a clear dish or something with something behind it. So that's one way. That's macro. That's one way to do that. Okay, everybody see that? That's definitely transforming what this is. Next slide, Chris.
Yeah, Roger, it's going to be a slight delay each time you say
Gotcha.
next. So
Okay,
just
got
give me
it.
a sec.
Okay, same thing. Without the back pattern, but this is again oil and water. So that's the colors are wonderful on this. Look at everything from purple to green to orange to yellow to blue. All kinds of cool stuff. Okay, next. I like this one a lot. Look at how simple it is. And I love the way that the background slides across there diagonally like that. How that's done, I have no idea. Georgiana's turned me on to a book called, hi Georgiana, turned me on to a book called, by Charles Needle called Tiny Worlds, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great book. If you don't, I would definitely recommend that book. It's a lot of fun.
A lot of this, it looks like it's coming out of his book. Is that where it's from? Because I recognize everyone I've seen.
Yeah. No, these are mostly off the internet.
Off the internet? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, next slide.
Give it time, Roger.
Got it. Okay, here's an object, right? And this is obviously, I don't know whether this is macro or close up or whatever, it doesn't matter. But here's a mechanical object that somehow has quite a bit of interest to it. And I think part of that is because of how it is lit. You see the rim light on that thing that's closest to us. That's pretty cool. My guess is this was either processed, post-processed to get the black background, or somebody shot it with a piece of black velvet cloth, which is another tool you can use in macro. Is take a piece of black cloth. Velvet works the best because it absorbs the most light, and use that. So, anybody have any idea what this thing is?
Like some sort of clock or measurement tool.
Like a scale.
Yeah, scale could be it, huh?
I don't know. I see the 0 and I see at the bottom and it goes to 120. I don't know what it is.
It's
Well,
like
it's
It's one of
It's
the
like an
joys
arc.
of macro work is that you can distort things and
Yeah.
make people look more closely or challenge, their
Exactly.
vision.
Correct, George. That's exactly the point of why we're going to do this one. We're going to try and do stuff that's transformative. Right, Chris, next.
Okay. Now, Roger?
Yeah.
If I looked at that, I would say that's more close-up than macro.
Yes, I would agree. I put that in as an example of close-up, if you will. Macro, you'd be down to looking at one of the teeth or something on it.
Yeah.
I put this one in because it does to me, there's a lot of motion going on in this. I'm visualizing those gears whirring around. And because it's a close-up photograph, the stuff in the background behind it is still sort of recognizable, kind of in focus.
Mm-hmm.
So good colors. Okay, next. Let me see what else is. The next one's transformative. There you go.
A spring?
That's the spring. Yeah. Look at the bottom of the image and see how it is. You know it's connected because your mind connects it. You know it's a spring, right? But visually, it is not connected. Very soft focus in the back, and this is a spring off of a ballpoint pen. So you see how tiny that is. Okay, next. Neutral background too. That's nice on that. Backlit. One of the techniques that most people use when they're doing foliage, particularly leaves, is to backlight it. Anybody have an idea what kind of plant this is? Looks like lettuce almost. Very simple. This is a case, look at the composition, very symmetrical, and that's okay to do. To me, it's almost like a tree.
Looks like stained glass.
Yeah, yeah. Next.
Ooh,
Ooh, that's nice. Like that.
This is my shot.
gorgeous color.
Yeah, that's really nice.
That's shot on film. Full frame on film, and a long time ago. And that's a low resolution slide actually. I put this in to kind of say, okay, I would really like people to not photograph flowers, but if you do, get real close and try to make it be something different. This one has a lot of punch because the colors are great and it's just in really close.
Composition.
Yeah, rule of thirds. But look at the depth of field on this thing. The petals in the back of this flower, which is, as I recall, this flower was about 3 inches or so in diameter, and I'm using a macro lens. This is with my Nikon system, and you can get pretty close with this. So
That's gorgeous.
yeah. Next.
Oh, that's great.
That's really well lit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's internet, but still I chose it because look at how muscular or whatever that piece of macaroni in the foreground is. I mean, it's a macho piece of pasta there.
Makes me think of lunch.
It's only 10:30.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't know what time I had breakfast.
Anyway, so this to me, This is probably close up. Anybody agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still having trouble with the concept actually between the two. Can you tell me again why you think it's close up?
I think it's close up for two reasons. One is the background's still a bit in focus, because if you had a true macro lens, that stuff in the background would be so fuzzy you wouldn't see it at all. That's the main clue. But the second clue, Chris, is that if it was macro, you'd be looking at, I can't do it on my screen because you guys can't see it, but you'd be looking at just some of that front piece of macaroni, and that'd be it. I mean, it's real,
So the depth of field being very shallow.
super shallow.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
we'll go over that in a bit.
because this, I mean, assuming that's macaroni might be an inch or half an inch or something. The depth of field in this now.
Oh no, more like an eighth to a 16th of an inch would be
in
focus.
macro, right?
In macro,
But I'm saying this one is much
No.
bigger than that. So it's
yeah, much bigger than that. So
Yeah.
this is close up. So
Okay.
either, because not everybody has macro lenses. Okay, And
Yeah.
I'll go over some
And
of the.
John poses a question to you.
Yeah, John, go ahead.
Oh, I put it in the chat. I've got Needle's book here in front of me.
Right.
And towards the beginning, when he's talking about equipment, he talks about his 200 millimeter macro lens, and then he mounts another lens to the front of that lens.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
I've done it. We'll go over that at the end of this thing.
Okay, thank you.
that brought up a point. I cannot monitor the chat when I'm on this view, so I can't even see the chat. So, and maybe you guys could just ask a question to be easier to deal with. Thanks.
Chris, I can see the chat.
Yeah, but you're trying to give the presentation as well, so it's hard for you to monitor the chat at the same time you're thinking about what you're saying in the presentation.
Roger, could you say something about the lighting on this, on the macaroni?
The macaroni. To me, it looks, well, it's lit obviously from the right side. And it looks like, looking at the front piece of pasta, it looks like it's lit from the right side back, because you can see the light inside the tube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I'm thinking that's kind of where it's coming from. The other clue is if you look at the one in the upper left-hand corner that's sort of pointing up like a cannon, you can see the rim of that piece of pasta is kind of shiny. So
I agree, but I'm wondering if this might be on glass or something else to help bounce the light around.
could be.
Because the it's not like all the light is just, coming down from the right corner and creating a lot of shadow.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting way that it's reflecting around, like in the macaroni piece on the right side has light going down the outside edge as well.
Right, I see that.
So it's a really interesting exploration with the setup, the staging of this.
Could have been used with a reflector.
Yeah, Roberta, that's a good notion. We'll talk about that, and that's one of the pieces of equipment we'll show in a minute. Because I'm going to talk a lot about gear to the end of this. Macro is way fun, and you get to use practically every piece of photography gear that you own. It's quite something to do. It's a lot of fun. Okay, Chris, maybe next slide. Spaghetti slide. This is a pretty good illustration, first of all, of lack of depth of field that somebody, this Sarah Perkins, I got this off the internet, that this Sarah Perkins did, and it's just the tips are in focus. You see how shallow the depth of field is on that. So, everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, because it's wearing these headsets a little
Bob's
strange.
got his hand raised, it looks like.
Go for it, Bob.
Yes. Some people define macro as greater than a 1-to-1 ratio. So back at that macaroni, that looked a lot greater than the 1-to-1 macro. It wasn't a blow up of a picture in my mind. I know there's more depth of field, but you can get that in macro, like using a zoom lens or something greater than, 50 millimeter or 75 millimeter lens.
Yeah.
So officially macro is greater than 1-to-1, but it's hard to measure that unless you have a macro lens.
In other words, what Bob is saying for the ratio is that suppose you photograph a penny with a true macro lens, what it will record on your sensor or film is something the size of a quarter. Is that a good way to say it, Bob? Yeah, okay. You see, he doesn't have virtual background on because Bob, move your head. See how he shadows? Move your head back and forth. Yeah, see that?
Depends
I
on
can do that.
what
I
view
do this.
people are looking at, Roger.
Okay, all right. I do this and there's no shadowing. Okay, next.
I'm assuming most of you are seeing this in speaker view so that the image is big. If you're
Yeah.
not, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't ask, but yeah, okay.
Rita,
Is this clear or is it blurry, this picture?
Blurry.
It's blurry.
It is blurry. I just want to make sure my camera's acting correctly. The print on the instructions at the beginning of the class were blurry for me.
correct.
Is it the only one?
I didn't think those were blurry personally. I on my screen.
No, not mine
Yeah.
either.
All right, just checking my camera.
Okay.
There you go. Next one should be sharp.
Okay.
Chris, next one.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about Rita's camera because she and I had some technical issues.
Does that look sharp to you?
Sharp to mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mary,
too.
mute your
I was going to say something.
Mary doesn't get to talk.
No, not right now. So this is a vegetable.
For Moscow, is it?
It's good. I can't remember the name of it though.
It's for Moscow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fractal.
Is this sharp, Rita?
No, and see, I don't understand because the pictures of you guys on the side of the screen are sharp, but the pictures that you're putting on the screen for the slideshow are not.
Are you in full screen?
Yes.
Get out of that. Go back to original view. See if that helps. It'll make it smaller.
Could be bandwidth.
I'm fighting bandwidth all the time. So yes, but it
So
looks reasonably sharp to me.
on view option, where do I go then? Exit full screen?
Under view options.
Under
Okay,
view
I got
view
you.
options.
Okay, on a smaller screen. It's a little better. It's a
Yeah,
little better.
just stay there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have the same problem on mine when I have the view of the participants up on the side of the screen, then the photograph looks blurry. So if you turn
Okay,
that
good.
off, go up to the top, turn that up, go to full screen.
Just checking to make sure it's not my eyes or my
No,
camera.
no, you're good. Chris, okay, let's move on.
Cabbage.
Cabbage. But it's cabbage sort of different, isn't it?
Looks like tile
Yeah, or something.
because it's
I
got
see.
squares.
I see a bunny. I see 47 Rio.
It's a Rorschach test.
Yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff going on. This slide would benefit to my eye by being in closer,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
you didn't quite recognize it as cabbage. In other words, if you could block, I'm going to take my hand and block the right-hand side of it just to look, and that helps. a little bit, you know, just, yeah, so, there you go, Chris. You doing that? Yeah, good. Like something like that. Yeah, better.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I got to see if I can get
Yeah.
this off. Oh, there we go. I didn't know what that button was. I never pushed it before.
Where's that button?
That's in the slideshow in the PowerPoint.
Oh, in PowerPoint. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's funny
now,
it's funny how these look like aerial photographs sometimes.
sometimes they do. Yeah. Yeah, very much so. So again, the idea here, guys, throughout all of this, before we go to the next series, which is really going to be trippy for everybody. It's one favorite artist of mine. The idea is that if you're photographing either close up or macro, is try to do something that's just not a picture of something close, but try to make it something else. Okay. So let's start with the next one. This guy's wonderful. He's a Japanese artist and he produces one of these a day. The little figures are things that he makes.
Oh yeah. Showed us this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's wonderful. Obviously the trees are store-bought little model trees for model railroading or something like that.
What's his name, Roger?
I've forgotten. I don't remember.
We looked at his stuff last time we did macro, and
Yeah, it's
he
good
has
fun.
a website that has hundreds of these things on them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just go, George. What would you say we should Google to find it?
Let's put
I
miniature
have no idea.
Japanese miniaturist.
Yeah,
I'll
there you
try
go.
the miniaturecalendar.com
It's at the bottom.
on the bottom. I'll try that. They should have his name.
Miniature
Yeah, there it
Oh,
is. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Miniature-calendar.com. That's it. I see it now. Okay. So this is fun. And look at this guy had the patience of a saint. Look at every single one of those is exactly aligned up and it's a different day for each one progressively. See that? So this
Yeah.
took him, this is not a 5-minute snap. This took him forever.
Think he used
Chris?
a tripod?
Oh yeah, I would assume he did.
Yeah.
This is again close up, not macro. You know, if it was macro, you'd be focused in on the couple of letters on the date stamp. That'd be about it. Okay, next one.
Is Tanaka. His last name is Tanaka. His
Oh, there,
first
it's in
name is
there.
Tatsuya.
Yeah, it's in this one on the bottom right.
Tatsuya Tanaka. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I put this one in because it seems quite appropriate.
Yeah. True that.
I can't read the name.
Tatsuya, Tatsuya
Oh, wait a
Tanaka.
second. T-A.
Tatsuya is the first name.
Uh-huh.
Tatsuya. Last name is Tanaka.
Oops. T-A-N.
AKA.
Tanaka.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great.
Isn't this wonderful?
I gotta steal this and post it on Facebook because that's just
Absolutely.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. All right, next. Oh, wait a minute, time out. Stay on that for a sec. Whoops, go back. This one works because look at the background. It's simple. And his lighting is, I'm looking and I'm thinking he's using a softbox to get the lighting correct on this. Because look at the palm trees, how the shadow on the palm trees is fairly soft. The two surfers that standing on the beach are also correctly in shadow. So to me, this really works well. But you know, this was probably a bit of study in order to get the light just right on this thing. So, you know,
And the only thing that's truly in focus is the surfer on the water.
correct. Yeah.
So the focus was on that piece when he took it, I would assume, or
Yep.
whoever took it.
Well, that's again, the lesson is, you know, focus on the point of interest. Look at the back wave, the one furthest out to sea.
Yeah.
That one is less in focus than anything else.
The two surfers that are watching,
Yes.
Their shadows cross. That's impossible.
What?
Their shadows cross.
You're right.
And that is not possible. Unless we have two suns.
I don't read it that way, George.
Yeah, I see the surfboard.
That's his hand. That's his hand.
Yes, I would agree, Rita or Roberta.
Yeah, that's his hand.
I don't think it crosses. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Okay, next.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great.
Oh.
That's wonderful.
If anybody's screen shows this in focus, then you need to get your eyes fixed because I could not find this thing in focus, but this is the best I could do.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Isn't that incredible?
Oh, man.
This guy is so talented.
That's hilarious.
What a wonderfully
So-
distorted mind.
Non-artistically, this is probably, it looks to me like it's a reverse tilt shift, Roger.
Yeah, probably. I get what you're saying. I like that the coffin also has the plus sign on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, I thought it was the return key.
It is that too.
Oh.
Okay, moving right along into ninja territory.
Oh, those are cookies.
Those
Yes,
are Necco
definitely.
wafers or something.
Yes.
And cloves.
Oh, yeah.
Very clever.
Super clever guy.
Wow.
But he sculpts all of the figures. So this is
Amazing.
again this is the 30th of August, a Sunday, whenever this calendar was put out, and he just takes his time. Pretty amazing. All right, the next one's fun.
Oh.
This is a case of transformative stuff. Okay.
How do you think he's getting that little motorcycle to stand up? Just with a little bit of like
Super glue.
museum putty or
Glue. Yeah.
Glue. Again, look at the background. He's probably got it on,
Hey,
one of those.
I have your picture, but I can't get on. I see
Hi,
my
Mike.
my name there with a blank.
Go to video. It's down in the corner.
Mike, don't worry about the video right now. We're not gonna
Stop.
just. Can you
Okay.
see the screen, the
Okay.
photo?
Yep. Okay, so next, let's do next one then.
Mary.
Desert scene.
Wow, that is so cool.
I'm listening to the meeting. I just might as well listen to the meeting. I'll let it go at that.
You can't see anything, Michael?
You can hear me.
Yeah. Can you hear him?
What about the video button on the bottom?
That's only going to affect what we see. It won't affect what he sees.
Right.
maybe his
But we
camera's
can't
covered
see
up?
him.
Well, it doesn't matter if we see him right now. Right now we're
Let's keep going here.
focused on this.
So this is a case where the guys and he's not the only artist. I know a couple of artists, one in Marin County that does food art like this. It's quite something. But he does a lot of this sort of thing where he had people chopping up beans or carrots and things like that, little miniature things. So this is one of his desert scenes. The stuff that's effective is just extremely simple. Think about it. There's all of his stuff that he's staged it in such a way that the image is what's important and there's not a lot of extraneous stuff going on. Look at the depth of field on this, like pretty much zero. Yeah. My favorite is the next one.
Oh.
How simple is that?
Wow.
That incredible?
That is.
Just really, really simple stuff. So again, please just don't photograph a flower, or whatever. Try to play with this. This is a mind game. Try to play with this and find something that that makes it different than what you think it is. Okay, we're going to do a little. Mercifully, I'll tell Chris to shut it off about 2 minutes in.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please.
Or
If
sooner.
we make it that far.
Okay.
So go for the next one.
Oh, no, please.
Oh, yes. Sorry,
Please,
folks.
no, not that song. No, never.
World of tears,
That song.
world of love, it's a world of.
There's so much that we share that it's time we're aware it's a small world after all.
Okay, Roger, is that enough?
Yeah, that's probably plenty.
Okay.
Okay, we're not going
Okay.
to torture anybody. Okay, next slide.
That's it. That was the last one. I
No,
think.
there's one more.
There's none on mine.
Whoops.
That slide's empty.
Oh my. Okay. Let me see if I can. How can I transmit this to everybody?
Well, you can share it.
Yeah. Let me do it a different way here. I will. Well, but it's not on my screen. It's on my other screen. Ooh. Let me connect this to Zoom. No, I can't do it that way. Let me do it
Is
this
it
way.
a JPEG? What is it?
No.
Hey, Mike, there you are.
I am?
Yes, you are.
Okay,
I
I
can
have
see
it
you.
on. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Hi, Mike.
Oh,
There he
yeah.
is.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I
we
knew
can hear you,
eventually
Roger.
I would get it. I pressed so many
Jack,
buttons.
you could hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Hey, Mike, we're
All right.
we're
Let me go to.
missing your hat.
Hi, Mike. I see you. Let me go out of this.
Couldn't recognize Mike without his hat.
I know.
Exit full screen. I want to go
He's
down
gotta go
to.
get it.
I had the same
This
problem. I couldn't even
Actually, I'll
imagine
do
a
it this
cap on
way.
you.
There
you
you
go,
go.
Mike.
There
There
you
you
go.
That's the
Yeah.
Mike we know.
And here's the. Can you see this now? No,
You have to
'cause I'm
share
not in Zoom yet.
screen.
Looking at.
Okay. I'm going to share screen so you can see this. And I want to go to this page. Everybody see that assignment?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, no?
Hold on, hold on. Snap a picture.
Do you see this?
Yes, we can see it. And I did a screenshot of it, and I'll make sure to email it
share.
to everybody.
Oh, okay.
I'll try it
Great.
again.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Can you throw it up there again, Roger?
Does everyone see this at all? Assignment?
Yeah.
Are we going to have a field trip?
Can't hear you, Roger.
Roger, are you there?
There he is.
Oh, he doesn't have his headphones on.
Oh.
You're not going to hear us without that on.
We should all put our hands by our ears, okay? Every one of us, yes.
Yes.
Hey, there you go.
Hey.
I still can't hear
I
him.
still can't hear us.
Is this assignment, I noticed that you showed a lot of pictures of Tanaka.
Yeah,
Is
that
that
was
more
just
or
at
less
the,
what we're
that was
doing?
at the end.
Oh,
I think Roger just likes Tanaka, so.
I think that was the thing to tell a story that's not usually told. So I think that was that piece of
Yes,
it.
good point.
Roger, are you with us?
I've sent no, Roger, we still can't hear you if you can hear us. I think he was having trouble with his headset before. So I emailed everybody the assignment just from a screen grab.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so you should
Great, thank
check
you.
that same email that Roger sent with the, I just
Yeah.
replied to that
I
one.
just got it. Yeah.
Okay, so. Roger, we can't hear you. Roger.
Can't hear you.
Maybe we can privately chat with him, or Chris, maybe you can privately chat to him.
I'm just going to send it to every.
He's talking. You can see him talking. We can't hear him.
That's why we all need whiteboards with markers that we can hold up and say,
I know.
There's a
I
good,
can't
that's
hear you.
actually not a bad idea.
I've got, okay.
Chris is gonna do it.
Whatever it was a long story.
Yeah.
Can you read that? I
Yes.
wrote it pretty fast. He's not looking.
He's not.
No.
Roger, look up. No, he's nodding his head.
okay, he got it.
Oh, I wrote can't you. Oh, that's funny. Roger, we can't you.
Obviously, he can't us
Got that
either.
damn songs in my head.
Oh, no.
Oh, and I
no.
hate that
It's
song.
an
Just
earworm.
hate it.
I know it's an earworm. Jeez.
Serves you
That was
right.
Disney Paris. Why wasn't the song in French?
Yeah, that's true.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
As you go through the place, it gets sung in different languages.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's right. It's
right.
been
I
so long
forgot
since
about
I've
that,
been
yeah.
there.
The mystery is solved.
Solid.
He's got a mute on his microphone. Nope, now it's not.
He's unmuted.
Say that again?
And mute on.
Oh, Roger
Well-
had muted himself for a moment, but it's
Yeah.
but it's off now.
He's still not.
Wonder if he got unplugged or something.
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah.
when he went to the other thing to show us the last slide. I wonder if it kicked out of something.
Yeah, he was having trouble with this microphone earlier, and he had to unplug his speakers. But let me just type him a message.
Chris, I
Yes.
thought you were supposed to have taught him everything.
Oh yeah, teach Roger stuff.
He
He
just
just gives-
don't know for sure that he can't hear you.
Hey, that's okay.
That's okay.
I have no problem being honest with him.
Me now? You should be able to hear
Almost.
me.
Almost.
Roger, are you back?
Okay, good.
I was just
Yeah, I'm back.
Yay.
You know, sometimes it's really simple, like plug the thing in. The headset wasn't. The headset was. This thing was not plugged in right. So here we go. All right. So the last slide that Chris does not have, but I will read it to you.
Are you talking
a couple
about
of
the
times,
assignment?
So I'll read it slowly. So
Roger,
people-
are you
assignment.
talking- I've already
Yes.
emailed it to everyone,
Okay.
so they all have.
Photograph something in a way. Photograph something in a way that is not normally perceived. We saw a lot of examples of that. Or photograph something that tells a story not normally told. Okay?
There you
So-
go. I just put it up on the,
Oh, there it is. You found it?
no, I just
Yeah.
got a screenshot of it.
Got it. Yeah. There we go. All right. Let's just go to, I want to talk to gear. So can you get out of share?
Everybody okay with that? You all
Yep.
see it enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Couple things coming up, so I'll let you know what's going on. Then we'll talk gear for a minute. In terms of logistics, Mary Henwood indicated to me that she is going stir crazy and would like some socialization. And so if those of you that want to get together, Mary suggested that's a good idea. If you don't carpool and everybody stays 6 feet apart and wears masks and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to coordinate that amongst yourselves, Renaissance can't sponsor it. So you have to do it kind of on your own. But if you want to get together, that's cool. Class number 2 is going to be on repetition, pattern, and rhythm. It features the Muppets and a very cool video at the end that you'll like. Number 3 in this, George, this one is for you. It's color field. We're going to revisit that. And everybody hear me still?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Yeah, because my earphones don't, unless you speak to me, my earphones are silent. So,
Yeah.
okay. Color field is the third one, and it will be, we're going to kind of go back to a couple of people that we saw previously, but I'm going to explain how color field has evolved over time into more contemporary times with some artists that I chose not to show last time, but will show this time. And there'll be 2 videos, one of which features Chris, and the second video is a food fight. Okay. The 4th lesson is Grisaille. I don't know if everybody's had the class on Grisaille, but that's again kind of medium tones, not necessarily grays, but sort of the middle of the Ansel Adams 10 zone system, 3 through 6 roughly. And that will be an interesting lesson. Lesson 5, this one's for Jack, is dark art. So he'll enjoy that one.
Is that like Harry Potter?
Lesson 6.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Is that like Harry Potter? Dark arts?
Dark art. Dark art. D-A-R-K-A-R-T. Dark art.
Evidently, you've never read Harry
And
Potter.
that'll be yeah. Yes. That'll be 2 days before Halloween, so that should be timely.
Probably
And there's some pretty scary stuff, real scary stuff in it. And then the last one is light art. So the light art is, I finished that lesson yesterday, so I've got all 6 done.
Roger, you still need to send me
the next question I have, I understand, I'll send it, yeah. We're gonna do Smug Mug, and I need to send Chris an image for each of the 6 lessons. Whoop, somebody's phone. Okay. I'll send you, Chris, I'll send you an image for each of the 6 folders that you can put up in Smug Mug. Generally speaking, we're going to post 1. The last one we'll probably post 2 for light art. We may, try and keep it down because it's difficult with doing it this way because we've got to use Smug Mug. And I think, Chris, we have to figure out if we can have that running plus Zoom at the same time. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, we need to interact when Smug Mug is on.
Yes, interact in what?
Yeah.
Way? What, visually
In
or?
Zoom.
Well,
Yeah,
I
in Zoom,
understand,
so
but
we can have a
audio, yeah, you can do that.
Or maybe we can put Smug Mug on as well.
The Smug Mug.
Yeah. There's okay, good. And we all have audio.
You can do that.
And I can see people's pictures. Okay,
Yeah.
that'll work. Fine. Go back out of it. Cool. Okay, good. So if folks want to get together, why don't you get a hold of Mary to coordinate if you want to get together in Sacramento somewhere to do macro? All right, I'd like to go through, I'm going to go to a blanker screen so that this is not so funky. So then I can show some stuff.
Roger, I don't know
Go to,
what kinds of lenses are macro lenses. I've never used them or anything.
right, we'll go through that.
All right, good.
Yeah, let me go to my green screen. We'll do that. Okay. In terms of, let's go through some gear now if everybody ready to do that. First of all, this is a macro lens. It's the Fuji 60, and Georgiana has this lens plus also the 90, which is about 3 times the size of this lens.
80.
This is not a true macro, but I'm sorry?
It's an 80. The other one is.
Is it an 80?
An 80.
80? Yeah, it's huge though, isn't it?
It's
Much
big.
bigger than this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is a 2.4 lens, okay? But it also goes up to, I don't know if you can see it or not, it goes up to f22. So you want to take and shoot, if you shoot on this at f11, f16, f22, somewhere in there, if you want to take and use a macro lens, okay? The other thing you can get that's always good are these things. And George, you and I each have a set of these.
I have a set too.
I don't know if anybody else does.
I do.
Yeah, these are now these are extension tubes, and you can put them. I forget how this goes together, but you can put these two things, clip them together, or you can use them one at a time. Okay, and I don't think these are the Fuji brand ones because I wanted. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's got the little contacts there.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be able to transmit still the exposure information and that sort of thing.
There are several
And
brands
it's basic.
that there are
Yes.
several brands that are a lot less expensive than Fuji, like
Yeah.
less than half price, and they also have the connectors.
Yeah, that's
So
what
the
I
ones
have.
I have, I think I paid $35 for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken K, is it Ken
And,
K
they
is the
work
one
just
they
fine.
recommend? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So these are really handy to use. Again, they're extension tubes, so it's hello. I mean, there's just air. Okay. But what it does is it takes between the camera body and the lens, it adds this thing to it, so that let me put it over here so you can see it. It adds these things to the front of it, so that as a result you get towards a macro with it. I found for my working with the X Pro, I found that the best combination was actually the 50 millimeter full frame equivalent lens, a 35. That seemed to give me the closest for some reason.
So
you can
smaller,
try it if you've got a telephoto lens.
the smaller the millimeters of your lens, the greater the magnification. So if you were to
Correct.
go 35, it'd be really huge. Also, the longer the extension tube, the greater the magnification. So I tend to use the smallest extension tube that I can, because otherwise you lose all sorts of depth of field. And
What
zooms
lens?
are.
On
I
what
use
lens,
a
Bob?
zoom. I use a zoom. So I've got this whole, wide area that I can use.
Okay.
Whether if it's like down at 32 millimeters, I get extremely large magnification. If I zoom it out to, wherever your zoom goes, 110, 150, 200, you get less of a magnification, but you can still get macro, and you get a greater depth of field that way because it's less of a magnification. So you have the option there. And that's a lot easier than a single focus lens. Usually you have to use a rail to go back and forth if you have a small millimeter lens, and that's fairly expensive to get. So I just use a zoom.
So to summarize what Bob's saying, that's very good. if you put both of these together, you get greater magnification, correct, Bob?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, yes. I played around with my shortest lens, which is a 14 and equivalent to 21 millimeters. And the problem with that lens is because it's such a wide angle, it makes everything tiny automatically. So that didn't seem to be the right combination to use. A couple of other things to consider. If you're doing macro, because your breath or heartbeat will change your focus point if you're hand holding. So I recommend some sort of, this is a handy little tabletop one that I have that I use. It extends, you can extend the legs on this so it's about 2 feet high. But if you're doing tabletop stuff, this is a pretty, think about getting something like this for that. Let's see what else. I got
The
some
other
more
thing that a lot of
stuff
people
here.
do, if you like to do drops of water, like hanging off a leaf or something like that, is if you use clear glycerin,
Right.
that will make it stick a little bit better, and you get nice reflections off of that.
Yeah, that's mentioned in the book. Yeah.
Another handy
Roberta,
device.
could you put the name of that book in the chat so people can see it?
It's The Tiny World. Let me go get it.
She just lost her head.
Those of us who were in the class the last time we did macro about 3 years ago should have the book.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a wonderful book.
Because we used it then.
Tiny Worlds, Charles Needle. Yep. Yep.
For years.
Another thing, if you're going to work outside, and I mentioned in the first slide about wind being a problem. So again, when you're doing macro, you're going to be using a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
Here's another piece of equipment. Okay, this is called a PLAMP, P-L-A-M-P, and what you do is this part here, you put this on something like your tripod. Okay, so this goes here somehow. So now it's on the tripod.
Thank you, John.
And the other end of this thing, you open this little jaw up, and it's where you put the stem of a flower or whatever, so you can, then you put it up to the top so you can take the picture. So that's kind of how this thing works. Okay. It's called a PLAMP. They're not cheap, but they're really worth it if you're going to do outside stuff and you're fighting the wind, because you can make the wind stop. And they're really well built too. The other one you could use for a tripod is that, that has this sort of stuff, the Gorilla Pod or whatever it's called. I don't have one of those, but I mean, they make tripods that are like that at various sizes. And I did not bring into my office here, I do have a rail. Bob mentioned that, and it's basically, it mounts on the top of the tripod, and it allows you to go in and out or left and right with the camera. So it's tedious as heck to use, but if you're into that, it's a good thing to have. So see, what else have I got?
I don't know
Yeah,
if you
one
can
last
follow my link, but I tried to post where on Amazon you can get a bottle of vegetable glycerin for $10.
Yeah,
if
Bob,
you
that came
want.
through the chat. That looks good. Thanks.
Yeah, good.
Roger, are you
last
back?
item.
Cynthia had a
I'm
question about focus stacking. Is focus stacking an option for this assignment?
Sure. If you want to.
Get great depth of field that way.
You have to have a special program to stack the photos, to pull them together, right?
Yeah.
Helican focus is the best one.
Now,
I don't know if
last
you can-
item I will.
Sorry.
Last time I'd like to bring out, and I do this pretty much every lecture, guys. Get this thing, okay? This lighting for macro is extremely important. We'll use this for 2 of the lessons in particular. This is for macro. So when you want to light up an object, and here I am putting it on the front of the thing or whatever, whatever. That's good. We're also going to use it for dark art, because when you do dark art, you can get really funky stuff going on. So you can ghost yourself. So those are the two kind of things. So make sure you've got a flashlight, or if you're working outside and you have one of those reflectors, most of us have got that at this point. Those are also very good to use, and you can direct those, those big round things. If that doesn't, you don't have that, piece of tinfoil works as well, or a mirror sometimes. So that's the kind of stuff you can use.
Chris?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, can you resend the Smug Mug information again?
Yeah, I have to wait for Roger to get me the information, the photos and the names of because I have to go in and create a file for every system, and he hasn't got me that details yet. Once I've got all that, I will send everyone all, just like I do each semester.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. So that's it. So try and think about what you're going to photograph that is something that you can transform. Make it so that it's a different.
Can we transform 2020 into 2021?
I like that idea.
Yeah.
You can leave this year as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Nothing good happened. Well, until we see what the election does.
Yeah, right.
Does anybody want to buy a barely used 2020 planner?
Only to shred it.
Make a dartboard out of it.
The only good thing is my travel budget is really low this year.
Yeah.
I'm signed up for Viking River Cruise next early May. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good luck.
I don't know if that's going to work.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, if they'll even let us out of the country. Yeah.
I can. We're supposed to fly into Belgium the end of April and spend about a week or so in Belgium, and then we're going to go visit our friends in Amsterdam for a few days, and then get on Viking and go from there to Budapest.
Oh, nice.
Spend another.
That'll be a nice trip.
Yeah. It'll be a nice trip. Then that's about half of it. Then from there we're backtracking into Vienna. If they let us in, we don't know. I booked the flight over, and I've booked the cruise, and both of those are refundable. I've done nothing else so far, and I may have to just back out of that if I have to, But I can get my air miles back from American, and the Viking will honor my money that I paid them last year, actually. And they'll rebook me on when we can possibly go. So we'll see. But we go from there, we backtrack into Austria, back to Vienna, Salzburg, and Innsbruck. Then we take the train from there up to Munich, fly to Porto, visit our friends in Portugal for a couple of days, then fly from there to Helsinki.
Wow.
And we're then in Finland for, depending upon the election, we're not coming home.
Hey, Roger,
actually,
John had a question,
Yeah,
and I think just to confirm with everybody the schedule. So we are meeting every other week, as in the past, except for the
thank you.
Thanksgiving. I think that Thanksgiving
Right.
week we skip or something.
Right. I think I put an email out to what days we were going to meet. The other thing I would like to, let me get to a different screen here. Hang on.
I don't think we got an email about what days we're going to meet.
Yeah, I don't recall that, but it
I
will.
got it. I got it. Yeah.
I will, when I send out the Smug Mug thing, I'll say when the due date is, which will always be the day before we meet. So that'll be another way.
Appreciate it.
I guess we're not having a party at his ranch, huh?
Not face to face.
Yeah.
Well, there's room out there for 6 foot distance.
Yeah, that's true. Stay at cows width apart. One.
That's right.
It's a sad time up here because I've got to put one of my animals down.
Oh no.
Yeah, one of my cows has gone lame on me. So
Oh
I put her
no.
down. I'm waiting. I'm waiting a little while, but I'll do it. You know, you have to do it. I'm
Yeah.
going to have a butcher come and take her and, you know, do whatever they do with it and then distribute it, the meat to people that need it.
No, that's
I can't
good.
eat.
That's
Yeah.
good.
No,
I can't
no,
eat
you couldn't do it.
my
yeah.
own pets.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I could shoot her, but I couldn't eat her. So
No,
we'll
Yeah.
put down.
no.
Yeah.
Anyway, to ask that you got onto something, another question, and I think this was again from Mary. If folks want to do, I forgot to mention that if folks want to do a in between, because it's every 2 weeks, we do you know the lessons that I've done, so it marches on every 2 weeks without fail. There's no break, so it's you can
there's
figure
not?
2 weeks from 2 weeks from today, 2 weeks from that, 2 weeks from that, all the way through. Okay, there's 6 lessons. So we finish up in early November, essentially. But if folks want to take and pursue some other lesson, and I emailed that to everybody the other day, if you want to think about doing a lesson about something, by all means, let me know, and we'll get it coordinated with you somehow. And that could be we could do that. I'm thinking we would do that on the Wednesday where it's normally the field work, okay? So we could do it that way if you want, because the field work could be any day. And Mary, you want to be in charge of the field work coordination?
Yes, if people want to contact me to go to a common place, wearing masks, staying brown bag lunch, staying 6 to 10 feet apart, I would be happy to arrange that. I'm not sure what to do about macro, seeing as we're not supposed to really be doing flowers. So if people have any suggestions also, let me know.
Tell everybody your phone number.
Oh, okay. It's area code 916-955 the devil 6666. 916-955-6666. And you should have my email also from the class emails.
Yeah, everybody has everybody's email, so that's another way to do it. But then if somebody wants to do it, I'm going to suggest that we do it on like the other Wednesday, the field work Wednesday, because that way it's consistent for all of us scheduling. That way, because we always know we're going to have class on that Wednesday.
So it'd be on the alternate Wednesdays. So yeah.
Alternate Wednesdays. That's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Just like before COVID, same deal.
Yes.
And then what we can do is we'll post on SmugMug as soon as I get Chris the images, which will probably be maybe today, although I'm not sure. And then we'll post on that. And Chris, you just demonstrated that we can do audio plus SmugMug at the same time, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
When you did that, actually, it went to gallery view for everybody. It was off to the side on my screen, so that works. I could still see
what
everybody.
was off to the side?
The pictures of everyone. Everybody's
yeah, that's
pictures.
not gallery view. But I understand what you're saying.
Well,
so
whatever it is.
the SmugMug thing was large. It wasn't thumbnail, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
no, it's good.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that'll work.
And by the way, when that happens, and if you don't want that gallery view seeing there, you can minimize that little slide strip of everyone. So if anybody wants to get that out of the way too. I'll tell you how to do that when we're at that stage.
You want to teach it now? Might as well. What time we
no.
11:30.
Well, I guess I
Okay,
can.
too
So
late.
if you,
Sure.
let me go to something here like this PowerPoint. So let me minimize this. See, it's hard just because I can't see it. My view is different than your view, but are you seeing a little slide strip thumbnails of the other people?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
some of you may see it at the top, some may see it at the side.
I see it at the side, Chris, and I also see the Eskimo.
So
I have view options up at the top, and it gives me a choice of doing side by side or it looks like zoom ratio fit to window or original size.
Yeah, I think if you go to
I see that as well.
full screen view, which I think is in the top right, there's a thing that looks like a square kind of with a little box with an opening in it.
Mm-hmm.
You click on that, that should take you to the full screen, which will give you the biggest view. And that might change the thumbnails. When you see those little thumbnails, if you put your cursor over the top of the box, if they're on the right, for example, if you put your cursor at the top, some little commands will come up. One looks like a single line. One looks, I think, as I recall, a double line. You click the single line one, that's kind of like minimize. That should take that gallery view away. Or the
No, I don't have that. I do have view options at top.
Yeah, that's another way. I just don't have, I can't see it because I'm not in that view. So let me stop sharing and go to speaker view. Exit that. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, I can't tell you how to change that when you're in that other mode. I just know that if you see that those little film strips on the side, if you click on the top of it, you can minimize them.
Yeah, that's the thing about Zoom. There's just a variety of ways to get to different.
Yeah, and it changes depending on which device you're using, whether it's a Mac or an iPad or a phone or it's frustrating for training. I've been working with I can't tell you how many hours working on the forum for Renaissance, and we have just, we're doing these things where we'll have, 300 people on. So there's a lot of practice sessions behind the scenes, and I'm going nuts.
Yeah, Chris and I took the.
Oh my God.
Chris and I took the Zoom classes that Renaissance put on to try and debug this as best we can. I'm surprised it's running as well as it is, Chris, because you're running this show because my bandwidth is so horrible, but it seems to work.
No, I think we can do it this way. I have all your presentations, so.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. I watched the one from the Renaissance on the women's thing with it was on the Centennial and it was coming from downtown, and it was Renaissance.
Yeah.
It was so badly done. I finally turned it off. They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, you'll be happy with the forums. We practiced, each speaker we practice 4 hours beforehand with the speakers, and then the tech hosts, we practice a couple hours every other day. Just, wow. I mean, I can't, it's like yesterday I was on 5 hours of Zoom just doing practice stuff with people. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
my
so
experience,
burned out. I'm just like,
right.
This is driving me nuts. And we haven't even started yet,
My experience is the same. My experience is the same. I've several hours pretty much every day on Zoom for various things.
Yeah.
I'm chairman of board of directors for our community service district. So I do board meetings on Zoom now. It's nuts, And we have to virtually sign documents and all that. So it's just weird.
All right.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
The other one I forgot to mention, and Bob, if you're there, wake up. I see you've gone AWOL on me. Is
multitasking.
It's probably bathroom break. Anyway, you can take.
Bob's there, Roger.
Bob's there. I know. Okay. Let's say this mouse is the camera. Okay. You can take. Normally, you mount the lens this way, but to do macro, I don't have the ring for it, but you can actually take and mount it this way, backwards, And that also makes a macro. So there's lots of ways to get there. Again, it's a hollow ring, so but that can be done. So
One thing to be aware of is if you buy those extension tubes, you've got to get one that fits the mount of your camera
Right.
and your lens.
Yeah.
And if your lens does not have the ability for you to adjust the aperture manually, then, and you can do the shutter speed manually, then you'll have to get one with the pass-through connections, electronic connections, which can be a little bit more expensive, but the Kenbo ones on B&H are pretty inexpensive. Those are the ones I usually get.
I'm using two older, they were from film camera lenses with macro on them. And so that doesn't make any difference because everything has to be done manually.
Right.
Yeah. So
I actually have an extension tube that you just turn it and it gets longer or shorter, which is kind of nice.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
with a
okay.
zoom
Oh, the
lens.
belt, like a bellows. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a
Good.
Fuji, Roger, in case you were wondering.
who was it? I think somebody asked me whether or not my flip phone was a Fuji, and the answer is yes. Anyway, yeah, bellows is another way to do it. I don't recommend the rail. I bought one. We've used it a couple of times. I bought it for Mary, but the rail is so tedious to use that I just didn't find it. I just found it too slow to work with. I mean, you know, I don't have
macro
that
work
kind of
is
patience.
macro work is pretty slow. The nice thing about a rail rather than front back is you're able to move left and right to frame it, as opposed to actually having to move your tripod in, which is like almost impossible to do. So yeah, it may be slow, but I'm into slow photography. So
I have a
Yeah, you
rail
are.
too. In it, my rail, the same rail, and you can get really exact focus with it. But man, once you pick your
Yes, you
shot, that's it for the next hour. You know, it takes forever.
Yeah, that's what's nice about a rail is if you're moving it, like Bob said, left to right this way, what's nice about that is if you can like put it in the middle to start with and get it kind of focused where you want, then you can compose with it by going left and right. You know, like for example, that picture that of the flower that I did that with a tripod. I didn't have a rail then, but the idea was I wanted the center of that blossom to be over at rule of thirds. So that's, you know, the rail will allow you to do that much easier. So it does have some advantages, but I found it usually really tedious.
I would think
But
with stacking that would be really good too, because you could go really thin depths of field through, right? And but I imagine that takes a long time.
Yeah.
With
One of the
stacking,
things that people
if you use a rail with stacking, you like going toward it more, you're gonna have the size of the image on your film is going to change. And so stacking probably wouldn't work. I mean, even focusing will change the size of the image somewhat, but not as much as moving it on a rail. So be careful of that.
Okay, I hadn't thought of that. Thanks.
Yeah. Should I recommend a remote shutter release?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Or a timer.
Yeah.
Before.
Timer. Yeah. Because
Yeah, that's
I
what
always
I
have.
use.
I'm a little bit shaky when I'm pressing that button sometimes. So
you're not alone.
Yeah, I usually just use it.
Yeah,
2
put
seconds.
it on. Yeah, those of you that have the ability on your cameras to lock, if you're using a DSLR, not a mirrorless, if you're doing that, and you can lock up your mirror, that's another thing you can do that reduces shake. That's big time important.
Okay.
I also got
cameras,
mirrorless cameras don't have that. No.
No, but you can do a full
thing
electronic shutter. If you use the full electronic shutter, then there's actually no shutter movement whatsoever. So a lot of mirrorlesses have like a start shutter with electronic ending or electronic beginning, and then it closes with the shutter.
Right.
Particularly to stop movement, you know, the distortion you get with fast moving objects. So just be sure you're on full electronic shutter.
Thanks, Bob.
Good
Yeah.
point.
If it's fast moving, you want to use regular shutter, not electronic though, because
Right.
you'll get warping.
Unless you like that. I
Yeah,
love
'cause
pictures like that. Have some
my
baseball
new
players
camera, the
swinging
X.
where they have those rubber bats, you know, like you used to go with a pencil like this.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, my new fancy new X100V, the latest version of the X100 fixed lens, has both shutter options to it. So that's kind of nice to have, to be able to do that.
You want to see
Jack.
the Fuji's 80 macro. This is it. If I can get in the camera range.
Let
Oh
show
my
it.
God.
Wow, that thing's huge.
Oh,
I wouldn't use a tripod. I would just hand hold that. Yeah.
yeah.
Versus
Ooh,
hold it
nice
sideways.
glass.
I was gonna get rid of it, but I couldn't figure out why I needed this because it looked like the same thing as the 60, right? What I forgot was on the side of this lens, there are 3 different settings. Makes all the difference in the world. So this lens is a gem. This is something else. But it took me a while to realize you don't leave it on full. It's got 2 other settings besides full. And that is where it really zooms in on things. So it is expensive. I'm not going to lie about that. It is expensive, but it is a joy to play with. So
It's on sale this month.
is it? Okay.
Where?
I think for the rest of the week.
Yeah, you can find
Where,
it.
George?
Any place that sells Fuji, because it's a Fuji sale. So B&H,
B&H,
Amazon.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Adorama, all of those.
Adorama.
Georgiana, hold it up again sideways, and I'll hold mine up so people can see the difference in size.
Georgiana, what do you mean by different settings?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
It has, you can go either full on the side or you can go 0.5 millimeter or 0.25 millimeter. And they just set it right on the side. You just move this lever over. And so you get different you get closer and closer. I mean, it really is what it does. So,
It adjusts the magnification.
yes, it adjusts the magnification. So I didn't even tip to that until I looked at it one day and went, I wonder what all these buttons do.
That's how I do it.
That's how I learned what they do. So, I was going to get rid of it. I told Roger, I don't know why I'm packing this big heavy thing around. And then I realized why. So it's got a heck of this thing is, probably as big as the 60, but there's your full lens.
Whoa.
So it is equivalent to Nikon's 105, that if anybody's got one of those or even their 200, it's a big lens. So, but it's a gem. So
what is the working distance of that lens, Georgiana?
I think that's what the things on the siders are about. And I just know I can get down the 0.25, I'm right in their face. So whatever I'm shooting, I'm right down there. So, and that's where I leave it most of the time. It is a focal, it is a 2.8 to 22.
And the close on this ring, the close focal range is what? How could you? Does it show on the ring when you
no
focus it? How close you can focus on the ring itself?
Well, it's,
no,
I don't think so. Like that. I'm still learning what these things are, but it's like 0.5 to infinity is one part of it, and then 0.25 to 0.5.
So it's got 3 different scales on there.
There's a one that's a full one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably the 3 switches that you have.
Yeah, that's the three switches on it. Yeah. So as I said, it's a 2.8. So
well, I don't know about everybody else, but I haven't been doing a lot of photography. Pretty much all I've been doing is charging batteries. So not sure what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, they're doing some video stuff.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of culling.
Maybe we should buy drones.
Really?
I think
that's a thought.
Renaissance might supply drones for this class.
Yeah.
Maybe we could call it art photography, flying art photography. Well, thanks, Roger, for
Bob
putting
and I
this
have
on.
been-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
If you guys
As
will hang
usual,
on just a
Chris.
second.
yeah, Chris, thank
too.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good work. Thanks,
Yeah, thanks,
guys.
Chris.
Yeah, you guys,
If you-
great work.
Yeah,
What
thank
were you
you.
going to say, Roger? I interrupted you. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Yeah, if you guys will hold on just a second, I'm on B&H's site right now. I want to look up the cost of this lens. Because I'm running Zoom at the same time, it's freaking slow.
I don't want to know, actually.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, I own a Canon.
It won't do me any good anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
It-
buying one.
It's
No,
Yeah.
it's over
it's
Like
over.
getting the
it's over
mileage
$1,000.
on
I
a-
know that.
Oh, well, no.
Forget that one.
All right.
I
Like
found
getting
Okay.
the mileage on a Rolls Royce if you
I
have
never
to,
buy
if you
anything
can't
full
afford
price.
it.
Okay, everybody, I'll just send out a brief email.
Thanks,
to the
Mary.
whole
Okay.
class saying,
Thanks, Mary.
contact me.
Thank you, Mary.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank
Mary.
you.
Okay.
All right, y'all. See you next time.
Bye.
Yeah, it's good to
Bye.
see
Everybody.
everyone.
Yeah.
Stay
Bye.
healthy.
Bye.
Yeah, it's
Stay
so great
safe.
to see you people. It's